Hey there, friends and wrestling fans. It's Captain Solomon here, and I'm here to review the January 8th edition of Raw. This is the one where I'm going to bash the writing team a lot, because although this is par for the course for them, a lot of this seems almost like slaps to the face and very just nonsensical. So let's get into it. Starts out with Roman Reigns coming down to the ring to cut a promo after his win from last week against Samoa Joe. Decent enough whole segment as a whole. It involves Jason Jordan eventually coming out and talking as if he's part of the Shield. Seth Rollins coming down and telling him, hey, look, kid, you're getting too cocky, you're stepping on Roman's moment. Jason Jordan follows that with going, hey, I understand we're not the Shield, but we're pretty dang good. We're probably the best three-man unit all over Raw, all over wrestling. Out comes what I originally thought was going to be the Miztourage. Turns out, thank goodness for the writing team, one of their very few bright spots I have right now, they kept the Balor Club together. Finn Balor's flanked by Anderson and Gallows comes out, talks about how, like, listen, we've been doing this, I want to say he's like, I've been working with these guys 10 years before you even knew that Kurt was your daddy. Absolutely fantastic little moment. The second time in the night that the crowd started chanting the Who's Your Daddy chants towards Jason Jordan. This builds up to Kurt Angle coming out. Surprise, surprise, at the beginning of the night, we have to have Kurt Angle show up. Kurt Angle comes out and makes this the main event of the night. So, should be a decent main event. I'm looking forward to that at this point of the night. After that, we get a six-diva tag match. It's Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Mickie James. And Mickie James had no idea what to do during Bayley's entrance. It was kind of comical to watch. Going against Absolution. Sorry, I'm a copycat here, but this is fun to do, the whole Evolution, Absolution thing. I'm going to do it until I beat that dead horse into the ground. So, Absolution, which is Paige, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville. The faces end up getting the win here. Sasha Banks locks Mandy Rose into the bank statement. She ends up tapping out. Paige gets in the ring afterward, pretty upset about the whole thing, as she does. And a solid TV match. I have no real complaints, although at least with Raw compared to SmackDown, the women's division has a little more focus, I guess. After that, we get Goldust backstage, giving the pep talk from the Rocky movie, giving it to Cedric Alexander. Goldust is a good talent. I'm really glad that they still have him and doing the comical stuff that he does. We also find out that Alicia Fox will be his partner for the Mixed Tag Team Challenge. Team Crazy, that's what I'm going with until they give me a real name. Alright, that's a fair enough team. I kind of like the idea. The concept's pretty good. After that, we get Woken Matt Hardy coming out to his wonderful music. He's going to go against Kurt Hawkins, who's lost 157, 158 matches at this point. So eventually they're going to have to cash in on that really hard. There's also a little video clip where Matt Hardy claims that he is entering the Rumble of Royalty, and that he will be the champion of the multiverse. Yes! Never doing that laugh again. I'll probably do that laugh again. Anyway, so this leads to a squash match as expected. Bray Wyatt shows up, and we get a very just uncomfortable, way too long. It felt like it went on for literally like an hour of runtime. It didn't. It was minutes, but maybe even just a minute. Way too long, just weird staring each other down and laughing, but nothing else. And this is another complaint I have about the writing team. I feel like somebody in the back was like, we need to cash in on the Woken whole idea. The broken Matt Hardy, we'll call it Woken so we can, make money. We need to cash in on that. What can we do? And someone went, well, Bray Wyatt's an interesting character. And that was it. That was all they had. They decided they'd go with it. And then no one came up with anything to fill that. So it's been just a bunch of, Matt Hardy laughing, Bray doing weird Prophet-style rants, and no payoff. And eventually they gotta do something, even if it's not, the full blow-up they need to. I want to see this go on for a little while and then end with Bray Wyatt becoming a Woken Warrior. That would just be such a cool angle they could do. Who knows if they'll do that, but right now it seems like they're doing nothing with it, and they need to do something soon, because people are going to get very disinterested very quick. They're going to flatten the whole Woken thing before it even gets off the ground, and I don't want to see that happen. So after that, we end up coming back from commercial with Elias in the ring with some of his best guitar work I've seen so far. He introduced the Miz from Miz TV. That whole segment in the ring was really great, with the Miz Taraj trying to one up each other with gifts, literally spur of the moment gifts, just taking off their own coat to give to the Miz, their own shoes, their watch, to try one up each other. That was a really good thing. Miz giving a promo, awesome as always. Talks about how he is coming for Roman and he's going to come back and get his Intercontinental Championship back. Exactly what I expected. I expected they were going to kind of drop the Joe angle, and that's what they seemingly at this point in the night have done. Very good promo. Then we get an Enzo Amore championship match against Cedric Alexander. Comes out to the ring, cuts a good promo as always. I liked his little wordplay. Thankfully, it was a lot shorter than he can go. Really, really good match. I thought it was perfectly fine. The Cruiserweights never get enough love, and it's a shame. So the match goes on. There's a moment where Enzo got busted open. I don't know where it happened or when. I'm going to guess one of the kicks from Cedric might have just caught him in the side of the head wrong. Also, really nasty bump for Cedric Alexander got pushed off the top turnbuckle outside to the outside of the ring, and I feel like he was probably just supposed to fall straight down, probably an easier bump to take, but it looks like the small of his back caught the apron of the ring and just did not look good on the replay that they showed later. It looked like a pretty nasty bump to me. But anyway, you also get Enzo apparently hurting his ankle as well during a move, which gets Cedric ends up getting the win via countout, so he doesn't get the belt. But I'm pretty sure the ankle's a work because they cut backstage and did a little bit with him and Nia during that whole shtick. Just, it is what it is. It's cruiserweights, and a lot of people don't care. And I don't feel like I'm supposed to care, so I don't know how to review it properly at the moment. So I guess we're going to move on to Angle in his On the Phone segment. Finally gets off the phone. Always got to have one of those a night. He ends up talking to the Bar. They come up and accuse him of favoritism. Don't know why we're not calling it nepotism, because it's his son. But that's okay. Maybe they don't think we know that word. So they want their match. They want to know why they were told they'd have a match, and they're clearly not having it now. So they find out that their title match is going to be at the Royal Rumble. This makes them happy, makes me happy as well. It should be a decent match. We then get Miz showing up, talking about some show that he's going to have. He didn't get enough details in there. I was kind of curious about it. I'm curious if it's a real thing or what it is. And then after that, we get the announcement that he's going to be going for the Intercontinental title on the anniversary episode of Raw in 2 weeks, which, again, should be a good match. It should be a good show altogether. Then we also get a little snippet, thing where they talk about the Mixed Tag Team Challenge and who the Miz's partner is going to be, which ends up being Asuka. A strange choice, I think, in my personal opinion. If Asuka were to lose in the Mixed Tag Team Challenge, that would count as a loss, right? Like, I know what WWE wants me to think. No, I mean, come on, it's on Facebook. It doesn't count. It counts. Like, a loss would count. So, they kind of have to win this, or I'm going to be a little more upset than anything else, because nothing else would make sense here. We'll get to that another week. We'll let it see how it plays out. We then get the Bar versus Titus Worldwide. Why should I care? It's Titus Worldwide. Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. I love Apollo Crews, but apparently I'm not supposed to like them because they lose week in and week out. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. They win. Writing team, are you trying to make me believe that they're a valid tag team that can go for the tag titles because they just beat the kind of only contenders that exist? Am I supposed to believe that they're a worthy tag team? Because I don't. This isn't going to sell me. Just get some better tag teams. Get some teams together. Save this tag division because Raw's is really weak. Really weak. But, yeah, so they pick up the win. Good for them. But I'm surprised. Very surprised. At this point of the show, don't know how long we've been recording right now, but at this point, it's 10 o'clock, which means we're about to lose viewers, so it's time to pull out Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar comes out. Paul Heyman gives his whole little spiel. But I don't really like this one either. I didn't like the one from the week before. This one, he talks about the Universal, keeps calling it the Universal Heavyweight Championship, and tries to build it up as if this title has the same prestige as the heavyweight title. I mean, now I get it, they're both like, WWE Heavyweight and Universal are supposed to be on the same level when it comes to, the importance in the company, ideally. But you have to remember that the Universal title has only been around since July 25th of 2016. So it doesn't have, like, the years of one-on-one prestige that you're trying to hype up on. And I get your point. It's always not what one man can beat Brock Lesnar. It's what odds can we throw against Brock Lesnar. That's usually the case. And I understand the whole angle, and I thought, like, for what it was supposed to be, it was really good. But I just kind of kept getting thrown off by him talking about the Universal Heavyweight title in the fashion he was trying to paint it. Classic segment, goes up. Brock starts to kind of like pose at the top of the ramp, and the camera isn't where it should be for this type of thing, which kind of set off some flags in my head, and they were cashed in whenever Kane showed up and attacked. Kane attacked Brock, and an attack that started on the stage, spilled to the little floor segment, and then to the back behind the curtain. When we get back behind the curtain, those two keep brawling by some tables and such before Braun Strowman shows up. So Braun Strowman shows up, throws Brock Lesnar like a rag doll before picking up an entire road case and chucking it into Kane. Then things get even more interesting, as he goes over to another road case and finds a grappling hook. Apparently that was Batman's road case, and apparently he left it out in the open, forgot to take it to the Batcave, because he just finds a goddamn grappling hook, hooks that thing around, tosses it up over the lighting truss, and pulls the entire thing down on Kane and Brock Lesnar. I love it. I love the Braun Strowman comic book run. Just you're pushing the suspension of disbelief. You start to lose my believability levels when you start throwing in goddamn grappling hooks. No one just has a grappling hook backstage at Raw, I promise you. Anyway, Brock ends up having to leave on a stretcher. Kane stumbles away injured and wounded. I feel like they might have blew their load early. Sorry for the terminology there. Because we still got a few more weeks before the Royal Rumble, but I really liked the segment, so I can't really complain. Then we get Samoa Joe coming down to the ring for a match, a squash match, as you can almost assume, against Rhino, who's still trying to prove to Heath Slater somehow that you got to toughen up by fighting instead of him. Alright, so, Joe squash match against Rhino, and decent, good enough TV match for what it's supposed to be, but then we get the little segment, interview, in the ring with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, again, very good on the microphone. My favorite part is the part where he's talking about the win against Roman, and about how, basically to sum it up, Roman's win isn't really a win. It's in the end, might as well be chalked up as a loss, because Samoa Joe says, and I quote, "I'm taking years off of your career when we have matches." And it's probably true. I mean, those matches are brutal. And he talks about how there's going to be cracks in the foundation, and that when he finally crumbles, Samoa Joe will be there to cash in on that, all the work that he's been doing. This is one of the few times that WWE doesn't expect that we'll have a goldfish memory. They want us to remember that Roman and Samoa Joe have butted heads and will butt heads. And I like that. I hate how often they want us to forget things like they never happened. Case in point, remember that time Nia Jax hoisted Alexa Bliss up on her shoulders to celebrate and then hit her with the electric chair drop? Because 2 weeks later, WWE didn't remember it because they were best friends again. So, I mean, WWE likes to do that a lot. I hope that they do this right. We also got his entrance into the Royal Rumble, as I kind of expected. But I'm a little confused by his statement during that. They mentioned John Cena, and he goes about how he that's a name he'll never forget, and that he will eliminate John Cena first from the Rumble. Joe, you don't know the order of the Rumble. At least you're not supposed to. What if you enter number 1? And what if John Cena is number 20? You're just going to look at 18 other people and be like, guys, listen, I can beat you up. Y'all gotta handle your own business. I can't throw you out. I've made a commitment here. I'm gonna eliminate John Cena first. Because if that's what I'm supposed to believe, stop it. But anyway, it'll still be awesome. I kind of can't wait. I'm hoping this builds toward John Cena versus Samoa Joe match at WrestleMania, because that could be amazing. I'm really hoping that it ends up turning out good. After that, we get Bliss and Nia backstage, and we get the segment cashing in, talking about what Asuka said about her. First of all, earlier I didn't know what Asuka said, because we weren't led to know. So then, it gets whispered into Nia's ear. And that leads to a very incorrect point to me, where after that, we get Nia going, wow, she said that? Do you speak Japanese? And Asuka goes, no, I don't speak Japanese. And she goes, well, Asuka doesn't speak English. Yes, she does. She very much speaks English, because I don't speak Japanese and I've understood her promos in the past. Now, I get what you're probably getting at, is that Asuka speaks a very broken English, that it's not, you know, going to be as detailed as whatever was whispered. But since we don't know what was said, like, what are we supposed to believe here? Like, I get it. We're supposed to realize that Nia isn't falling for Alexa Bliss's, you know, shenanigans, but she also wants Asuka on her own right, so, I mean, that kind of seemed pointless to even point out, I guess, unless you're going to eventually have Nia Jax go after the title, which would be cool. But, more importantly, I feel like you really, like, did you expect no one's heard Asuka? You know what? I gotta move on. Because I'll rant forever. After that, Asuka's coming out for her match, which I assumed was going to be a squash match. We didn't even get a match. Nia showed up and attacked, hit her with the electric chair drop, followed by that rolling cannonball move. Perfectly fine with it. I didn't want another squash match right after one we just got, so it's better off the way they did it. I really wish that maybe Nia would have teamed up with the Chicken Noodle Soup to take out Asuka. I think that would have been a better angle. You're damn right I'm still pushing the Chicken Noodle Soup. I hope the Chicken Noodle Soup wins the Intercontinental Championship. I hope Nia and the Chicken Noodle Soup are the best friends forever, because that's a better love story to me than Enzo and Nia, and Twilight for that matter, but Enzo and Nia more importantly. I'm going to be pushing Chicken Noodle Soup until it's put into the Hall of Fame. Still a better writing story than anything WWE's doing. After that, we get the main event of Balor Club, Finn Balor and Gallows and Anderson going against Roman, Seth Rollins, and Jason Jordan. Perfectly fine TV match, very, very entertaining. Very messy ending where the ref just kind of like seeing what he wants to see, in my opinion. Jason Jordan jumps in because he's got a problem with you over there, you know, so the ref misses the tag from Rollins to Roman. You end up getting a magic killer from Anderson and Gallows. Get a magic killer on Seth Rollins, but they're still kind of standing there and taunting and posing with the refs like turned where he could clearly see like this is going on, but he's still focused on Jason Jordan. Leads to some blow up outside of the ring, and then eventually Jason Jordan has Seth Rollins like talking to each other. Finn comes in for the running knee. Seth, being the good guy, Seth pushes Jason Jordan out of the way. Rollins catches the knee, and then eventually a coup de grace. 3 count. Balor Club ends up picking up the win. I thought that was the end of the night and started to walk away before I hear chaos ensue as we get the Miztourage showing up to attack those 3. They start tearing into them. It ends with the Miz dealing a Skull Crusher finale to Roman Reigns, followed by going to leave the ring and then getting back in to hit him with the triple power bomb. All in all, very good way to end the show. I was completely fine with this, and I'm waiting to see where that kind of goes, but it should be interesting nonetheless. Here soon I'll be doing a rating system for these Raws, probably sometime after the Raw and SmackDown rather, after the Royal Rumble. But for right now, I feel it was just average. It was an average episode. To me personally, below average, because so many questions about what they're doing with characters and writing angles, because a lot of it just seems very poorly done. Like, they just don't have a grasp of what to do with some of the characters and people they have, which isn't nothing new, but it looks worse than normal to me lately. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm finally just, you know, the appeal is fading. I don't know, something. But I'm just, maybe I'm spoiled by New Japan. I love New Japan now. But anyway, I've been Captain Solomon. I will be back again tomorrow to give my review of SmackDown. Anyway, take care.